Hello, this is Erin. Welcome to another video. Today we're reading Chapter 15 of Hermitcraft Freedom, a spin-off series of my Clockwork Chronicles universe, where I put Minecraft YouTubers in a Minecraft-inspired world universe, and Minecraft YouTubers in a Minecraft-inspired universe, and seeing what happens. Kind of like D&D, but my own spin, and yeah, in this case, I am focusing on the hermits because, yeah, that's my current hyperfixation at the moment, which is fine. Yeah. A lot of stories I would like to tell, stories I still want to tell but haven't been able to tell. Got a couple ideas, but I just need some time to brainstorm, and that means a lot of fishing. But never mind that. We're going right into Chapter 15 with Erin. Captions for the chapter are available if you just want to read them along with me. But if not, that's also fine. But yeah, I know sometimes I read in certain ways that are confusing, which is why I have these. I try to talk a little bit more clearly and slowly, but that doesn't always work. So, we're going, we're having fun, and let's get right into it. Erin held her sword high, trying to keep her sword arms from trembling as Aiden came down with his wooden blade, clashing against her weapon, sending splinters of wood flying. Not bad, David nodded, his arms folded as he observed the teens during their practice session. Sam had given them a schedule to follow. Practice in the morning, potion and healing lessons in the afternoon. It was a good way to keep up their studies now that Aiden and Erin had no school to go back to, and nowhere else to go. Erin already missed her time in Lovely World, getting lessons from Stampy and William, along with Sam. There had been so much more to defending people than she had first thought. Maybe that was the point. She had to be ready for anything. Can I try now? Aiden asked, looking over at Fols's protector. Erin could hear the hermit and Sam talking softly in the next room, maybe discussing strategies or better ways to fortify Fols's base, especially when the Null was very much at large and they most likely wouldn't be able to use their gadgets if there was an attack. Sure, David replied, as the kids switched places. Aiden prepared his advanced. Excuse me. I read that righty wrong. I don't even know what I just said there. David replied, as the kids switched places. Aiden prepared his stance. Erin smirked, mirroring his movements. Now remember, you need to be less predictable. Know your enemy, but don't let your enemy know you. I get it, Aiden stated, matter-of-factly. We'll see. Erin grinned, stepping forward. With her sword lifted before lunging toward the other side. Aiden watched her carefully, blocking each of her attacks. But Erin wasn't done yet. She swerved around her friend and managed to jump him from behind, tackling him as they both tumbled to the ground. Hey, that wasn't fair! You don't know your enemy. Don't let them know you, she reminded him. Aiden groaned. You don't need to be a know-it-all about it. Erin rose to her feet, helping her fellow intern up. You need to be aware of your surroundings. A one-on-one can easily turn into a 2v1. Aiden sighed. You get a point. You're doing great on your training now, David commented. Good reflexes, good observance of the opponent's movements. Not enough, though, Aiden smirked, giving Erin a side glance. Erin giggled. We all have our skills, David continued. Strengths and weaknesses. You need to be willing to look out for the team. Step in when needed. The war isn't about an individual. We work together. That's what Eli believed in. Did you know him? Aiden asked curiously. David shook his head. I only met him once when I was recruited for the cause. He was a good man, always thinking about others for himself. Sounds like somebody else we know, Erin chuckled, spotting Sam appear in the doorway. False was right behind him. Her bright blonde hair flowed down her back, held by a pair of aviation goggles. She wore a dark leather jacket and a red and white striped shirt. Her blue eyes matched her smile when she saw the teens. Guys up for a break? Sam offered. I need to borrow David for a minute. I want to make sure the security is strong. Erin nodded. Is there a problem? Not that I could see, but knowing the victors are out there isn't ideal either. I want to make sure the base is a safe place to go if things get dicey. Isn't Hermit Fortress supposed to be that? Agent asked. With the null, all security becomes inactive, Sam frowned. Impulse gave me a solid report of what he's found so far. He'll let me know if he comes up with something. Erin nodded. Sounds like a plan. Is there anything we can do to help? Is there any way we can help? Blech. Sam shook his head. Again. Get some rest. You're off the hook for the rest of the morning. Stampy always gave his helpers time off to rest. I think it's fair to do the same. Okay, Erin replied. But what are we supposed to do? Sam shrugged. I'm not the one who has a day off. Erin laughed. Do you ever get a day off, Sam? Sometimes, the young man smirked before disappearing into the other room again. David didn't waste any time following him, as the teens were left alone with False. You know, the only ones on break, it seems. False mused, crossing the room. I think we should surprise those two with something. Don't you? Gosh. What do you have in mind? Erin raised an eyebrow. False crossed her arms. Oh, I thought you would have an idea. Sam's thrown a few surprise parties before. Aiden shrugged. Mostly to give a moment's peace to his friends. It's been a wild few weeks, False replied. Stress is still anxious to know what happened to her protector and his gal. But at least she's safe. I can't say the same for a lot of our friends here in the forest. Do you have an idea of how to get around an owl? Erin suggested. That would solve a lot of that problem. That would solve a lot of that problem. I don't know what that sentence is. Yes and no, False replied, walking over to a nearby chest and opening it. Yeah, opening it. No. Apparently I didn't read it for long enough. Yes, it would involve them turning off our tech, but they still have ways to get around it. Silent helicopters, for instance. They can fly high enough to not be detected and fly down with elytras, then slip into the base undetected. And they could hide when everyone's asleep and stage an ambush. Erin's eyes widened. You think that's how they got into Hermit Fortress? False bit her bottom lip. It's a possibility, but they could easily simply walk in without trouble. It doesn't make it easy for them, but it's not impossible. Right, Erin sighed. They always find a way. But at least they don't seem to be interested in coming back here, Aiden pointed out. You're not one of their targets. False smiled. Not directly, no, but those people at the fortress are my friends. Hermits, hybrids, humans alike. I suppose. Only time will tell what will happen, she replied, pulling out a few materials from the chest. But in the meantime, we can enjoy the moment while it lasts, can't we? Erin chuckled. Parties can either go well or very wrong. Sam knows that very well, too. False nodded. I'm sure he does, but be careful. The kitchen sounds like a perfect place to start. Sure beats reading, Aiden grumbled. Erin giggled, nudging him playfully as she tossed the wooden sword aside, watching it land next to the chest. Aiden tossed his weapon as well, resting on top of hers like an axe. Fultz gave the teens a nod, turning toward the hallway when the trio heard the sound of an explosion, followed by a sharp shout of alarm. Erin jumped, her heart pounding as Fultz broke into a run toward the sound. "Fultz, wait!" Erin bolted after her, not sure what exactly they would be running into. Were the directors here? Why would they attack now? Didn't they know that Stress wasn't here? Who else could they want? Fultz, of course. They'd want to get their hands on the hermit due to her connection to the other hermits at Hermit Fortress. They attacked the two main protectors when they were alone to deal with them, so that they could pick them off. Unease filled Erin's gut as she halted in her tracks, seeing the remains of the main room. Half of the wall was gone, letting in the mid-morning sunlight. Couches and tables were smashed or coated in dust. In the middle of the room, she could see David and Sam stumbling to their feet, partially dazed. Standing just outside the hole was half a dozen men wearing the cause's camouflage uniform. She knew very well they weren't friends. They were here to cause trouble. "Sam, are you okay?" Fultz asked, coming to the boy's side. "I'm fine," Sam nodded, leaning against the hermit for support. He appeared to be badly hurt, mostly winded. Erin extended her sword as David stepped forward, standing in between the others and the enemy. One of the men up front smiled. "I don't think you're able to keep us back for very long, David. Not when you're weakened by that blast." "But the blast? I'm half YouTuber, half you know," David stated, matter-of-factly. "I could take a lot more than you think." "We're hypers too." The lead man stepped forward, pulling out a gas blaster from his pocket. Erin gasped, feeling Aiden grabbing her arm. "I suggest you lower your weapons and surrender. Your cooperation will mean no one else has to get hurt." "And who exactly do you plan to punish if we choose to defy your order?" David raised an eyebrow. "Oh, there are plenty to pick and choose from," the man mused. "Practically swarming in these lands." "Right," Fultz said flatly. "We're hiding because of people like you." "Not very well, I'll have you know," the man snickered. Erin crept forward, standing beside Fultz on one side and Aiden standing next to Sam on the other. "You fortify your bases, thinking that will protect you. When we don't play by your rules, we're here to collect what's due. That means some of you are coming with us." "We're not going anywhere with you," Sam narrowed his eyes. "Oh, I don't think you have much of a choice in the matter, Samuel." The man fired his gas blaster, the golden fireballs light filling the room. Erin saw it for only a moment before Fultz shoved her to the ground. A scream filled the air as Erin turned her head to get a better look. A figure was slumped against the wall across the room, camo clothing smoking and half burned, covered in ash, with burns all over the man's face and arms. "David!" Fultz gasped, scrambling to her feet. Erin followed shortly behind, just in time to see the 6 men charge into the room. "Fultz, look out!" Erin warned, jumping in front of her as one of the men lunged for the hermit. She blocked his attack as the man pushed her back. Fultz jumped into the battle a moment later. All Erin could hear were grunts of pain and the clashing of swords. They were already terribly outnumbered, down one of their own. How were they possibly going to stop these men who were so much stronger than her and Aiden? "Someone needs to get help," Fultz said breathlessly, knocking the attacker to the floor. Knocking him out with her boot. She looked over at Erin. "Can you go to Hermit Fortress and fetch back up?" "What, and leave you here to fight these guys alone?" Erin demanded, jumping back as one of the men attempted to grab her. She swung her sword and sliced through his arm as he yelped in pain. "I'm not alone," Fultz said simply, whirling around and clocking one of the men with the head of her blade. He stumbled, but stayed upright, lunging for her. Falls held her ground, keeping the man at a distance. I'm not leaving you here, Erin stated, standing back to back with her. Not when they're after you. It's not much of a choice. They've cut off our exits. There's more on their way, and we can't fight them forever. Wait, there's more? Erin asked. Her eyes widened as she looked back toward the hole in the wall. Sure enough, more men were charging toward them. Some men were stationed in certain spots around the perimeter, gas blasters in hand. Can't we use the tunnel? You could try, the soldier sneered, lunging at Erin. Erin ducked out of the way and struck the man's leg. The man grunted in pain. You're going to regret that, girl. Well, then maybe you shouldn't be attacking us. Erin snapped back, dodging another sword attack. Falls came to her rescue, slashing the man's sword arm. The man screeched in pain as he stumbled back, rage fueled in his stormy gray eyes. Another scream filled the air as Erin whirled around, watching in horror as Aiden plummeted to the ground. Unmoving, beside him was Sam, attempting to scramble toward his fallen blade, clutching one of his arms in pain. No! Falls charged toward the teens, sword raised high as the attacker lunged at Sam. Erin ducked out of the way of another attack by the new arrivals. The room was now crowded with enemies. There was no way of escape. False, no! Sam warned as another scream sent Erin whirling back. One of the men had lunged at the hermit, impaling her shoulder with his blade as the hermit collapsed to the ground. The man struck her again as Erin lunged for him, sending him back. Stay away from her, Erin sneered, tightening her grip on her blade. False groaned in pain behind her. She glanced back, seeing Sam crawl toward the hermit, checking her over. They were surrounded. Erin could see that now. She looked down at Sam as her eyes met for an instant. They were trapped, and no one would even know something was wrong. Take the hermit and James boy, the lead man ordered nonchalantly. Oh gosh. He wants to go present tense when I've been writing all of this in past tense. It's ridiculous. Erin could see his face now, scarred from past battles. How do you want those two? Kill the others. No! False cried, struggling to get up, but falling back down again. Her shoulder and side were soaked red with blood. Her face was drained of color. Erin, get out of here. Sam hissed, managed to grip his fallen sword. Please. I can't. They blocked all the exits, Erin said softly. Sam said firmly. Need help. It's already too late. The lead man sighed as Erin noticed a ball of light in the corner of her eye. Moments before she felt immense, horrible pain. Last thing she heard was False's scream. Then there was nothing. Alas, that is the end of chapter 15. Apologies for the doggo barking. They are playing right now. Yeah. Rosie's being a little teasy. So, yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. There will be a link to the next chapter when it's available in the description. But if you want to be notified when the next one comes out, be sure to subscribe, hit the bell, and yeah. And I'll see you guys next week, whenever that might be. Goodbye.